All right. Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to session 2 of the Autumn Cruise Dragon Heist extravaganza in this 4-party mega stream going on here on Variant Roles. I am your host and DM, Dan Gaston, MadSci DM on the internet, and I am happy to be here and pick up where we left off. So let's just go around and say hello to all of my fantastic players. Let's start with Nox. How are you doing?
I'm good. That's all I have to say. I'm good.
All right, great. Who are you? Who are you playing? Where can we find you?
Yeah, thanks for the prompts. I obviously need them. Yeah, I'm Nox. You can find me on the Twitters at Nox Noctua. I play on a number of different role-playing games on the internets, and I have my own little channel as well that I run a game on every other Sunday. But I'm really excited to be here and kick off session 2 with everybody.
Excellent, thank you. I am too. Let's kick it over and down to Ryan.
Well, good to be here. I'm Ryan. Don't really do the whole Twitter thing, but you can find me on Red Hand Roleplay. We have it on Podbean and iTunes, and yeah, just looking forward to what's on the other side of the door.
I suspect we will either find out momentarily or we'll find out in like an hour. It's one of those two.
But first...
All right, thanks very much. Cindy, how are you doing?
I'm good. Hello. I also do not do the Twitter thing. I am Oprah on the internet. No. No. Are we doing characters too? Or
yes, yeah.
Okay. So I am playing Emmeline Brosfeather, or the Better Brosfeather. So she and her brother Thaddeus are the nobles of the party, and so hopefully can make their way around town and avoid some trouble.
Excellent. And I think I brain farted on both Nox and Ryan with their characters. So why don't we go back briefly to Ryan?
Okay. Well, I am playing Thindrit, aka Doc, who's something of a after-hours mob doctor, forge cleric. So, at the spry old age of 100, kind of the older man of the group. So,
perfect. And Nox?
I am playing Dahlia, the Eladrin Bard.
Excellent. All right. And Matt?
Hey, I'm Matt. You can find me on Twitter at Learning Kim, and I'm playing Styx tonight, which is our little bit of our underworld kind of fixer. He helps things out when you need it the most.
Something that I think will come in very useful over the course of this stream.
Yes.
And we sadly do not have a Jeff with us tonight. He is traveling on business. He may pop up in chat later. He wasn't going to be able to make the first of the show. And since we want to keep seats filled, and it's always nice to have a full party of 5, trademarked, not infringing though, we brought in the first of our guest stars for the stream. So we can say hello to Litza, who is no stranger to the channel.
Yes, hello. I am playing Twitch, who is a very nervous tiefling, who is not a very good criminal, stands out a little bit, good at forging documents though, and is hopefully not going to die, probably will. Odds are not looking good. And if you want to follow me on Twitch, I'm at Litza Bronwyn.
Excellent. All right. So to remind everyone where we left off, last week you had gathered in the Yawning Portal where shenanigans occurred featuring a troll, which you helped take care of and dispatch and ended up pushing back down the well that it came from, and attracted the attention of a not so minor celebrity of Faerun, Volothamp Gedarm, who recruited you to find his, I guess we could describe Floon Blagmaar, who has the most Forgotten Realmsian name of all names, as pretty, sort of a noble-ish kind of character, at least a little bit well-heeled, but maybe not so bright, I think was kind of what summed up Floon Blagmaar. And he had gone missing after drinking with Volo at a less reputable drinking establishment known as the Skewered Dragon, where you went, had some intimidation words and bribery exchanged with some local thugs. Dahlia wooed some local dock workers. And managed to get information that while no one knew where Floon was, he had been drinking with one Lord Raynar Neverember. They had left and been followed by 5 individuals who were known to be Zhentarim and had a warehouse nearby. And you went and found that warehouse, and that is where we left off. So when we pick up, the camera panning down this dark alley with just a single flickering flame opposite the entrance of this warehouse. There is sort of like a wrought iron fence with a gate inset into it, and there's a yard in behind that, sort of about 30 feet back from the fence is where, like the loading doors of this 2-story warehouse actually are. And there is like a window and another smaller door beside the big loading doors. That smaller door has a brand emblazoned on it of a small, curled up black snake with a pair of wings coming from it, which you had recognized as the sign of the Zhentarim, the Black Network. So you're pretty sure this is the right place. Now, while you were standing opposite the door, and Thaddeus is saying something presumably somewhat condescending to his sister Emmeline. Emmeline, what sort of condescending thing do you think Thaddeus would be telling Emmeline at this point in time?
Maybe just stay behind me.
And he probably would have ended it by calling you Boo, is that correct?
I hate to admit that, but yeah, that seems to be the childhood nickname he's aired out in front of company.
Yeah, that seems to
I might
be...
say...
Go ahead.
Oh, and I just might say, not here, Flop, or let me stand in front of you, or something like
that. All right. So after that exchange, and Thaddeus is sort of then examining the door across the way, and I imagine pulling up a hood up over his head, a hood that's emblazoned with the Brosfeather family colors. All of a sudden, the temperature in the alleyway drops precipitously, and out of nowhere, there's a swirl of blinding wind and snow that kind of just comes barreling down the alleyway, almost like a blizzard just appeared out of nowhere. Very unseasonal. This is autumn in Waterdeep, and snow this early would be unusual, let alone a blizzard. And as it sort of tumbles by and makes, everything quite heavily obscured, the snow seems to swirl around Thaddeus in particular. And you notice a little bit of a sort of staticky flicker sort of around where he is appearing. And then the snow disappears. It doesn't blow on by, it just vanishes. And the temperature returns to normal. And the only thing that has changed is that Thaddeus is gone.
Okay, Emmeline's looking a little panicked now.
Yeah, and you can see sort of in a shadow nearby, kind of just watching, sort of as you turned and kind of looked at this, your attention is drawn to it, floating up, 10 feet off the ground or so in a bit of a nook, is something about the size of a grapefruit, which kind of drifts out of the shadow. It's got a large, central eye that takes up about a third of its face, the other third of which is taken up by this just, fanged mouth, and there's 4 little eye stalks kind of twitching off of it. It's got a little bit of drool coming down its face. It kind of looks at you for a minute and then whips around quite quickly. A blue blast comes out of one of these eye stalks, hits a rat that is kind of like scurrying down the alley, and the creature makes this noise kind of like a as it like kind of swoops in, chomps onto the rat with its big fanned mouth, drifts back up into the air, and then is like kind of looking at the group of you with its eye stalks kind of twitching and keeping watch, and just starts like chewing and then horrifically swallowing the rat whole and kind of just looking at you.
How
I
big is it?
I immediately, like, my eyes get big. I'm looking around for a place to hide or run or get away, because this is not a situation I want to be in.
And it, like I said, it's kind of about the size of a grapefruit or so.
Oh, I thought it was a lot bigger. Okay.
No.
I was like,
So
holy shit, bye.
who among you is knowledgeable and skilled in Arcana?
Let me check.
Not I.
No, there were 4 eyes, I think.
5, counting the central eye.
5. Okay. Can I chuck my boomerang at it, or do we need to roll initiative?
It doesn't appear. I mean, you can do anything you want. It's kind of just floating there. It is by now kind of swallowed the rat, and is just like floating there, kind of looking at you, almost quizzically. It's kind of like tilted a little bit, you know, little slightly diagonal. Kind of like licks its lips, and it's just kind of floating there. You can swear you hear it almost humming, like a little like.
So we've got a baby beholder. Jesus Christ.
So no one is trained in Arcana. If anyone is proficiency with nature, I would allow that as a sort of secondary knowledge check.
I got animal handling.
Well, animal handling might come in handy depending on what you try and do with this creature.
I've got animal handling. I got some nature, but it's not really. I can try it.
Are you proficient, or is it just like your wisdom bonus?
It's your wisdom. It's my wisdom bonus.
Yeah, no. In this case, it's sort of if you have proficiency.
I look at Styx and Doc. Do we have a plan here?
Maybe if we ignore it, it'll just leave us alone.
It's definitely looking right at us, and Thaddeus is gone.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. The fact that Thaddeus is gone and this thing shows up, this is not looking so great.
So Emmeline's kind of looking around at you all to see if anyone has a clue where he went, and I'm assuming you all look as clueless as she does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I look a little scared. My eyes are real big, and my face is pale.
I got nothing. I have no idea what happened to him.
So none of you have ever seen this alley blizzard before?
I've seen a lot of things, but I haven't seen this one.
I've definitely seen a lot of things, and this ain't one of them for sure.
How far do you think he went?
Sounds like he got summoned by somebody. That somebody we don't know yet. They might be watching us right now.
Or he could have just gotten gone.
I wave at it. At the creature.
What is that?
Dahlia, as the bard, and being older, I think you could probably default to just an intelligence check to see if anywhere in all the lore that you have studied as a bard that you might know anything about this creature.
I'm proficient in history.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yep. See if you have heard any stories.
18.
18. Okay. deep in some of the lore that you have heard about and associated with creatures like beholders, you know that there are other types of what are often called beholder kin. Some of the most famous of which are like spectators that wizards often summon as like guards. This, one of the smaller ones, you think is called a gazer. It's kind of like the feral cat of the beholder kin world.
Yay. Hey, wait a minute. If we feed it, we might could actually do something.
It just ate a rat.
We know it has exquisite taste. So.
With that, the gazer actually sort of belches, as it finishes consuming the rat.
Do I know anything on how to like interact with this thing?
Good question. So you know that they don't really speak any languages. Occasionally wizards use them as familiars, so they're presumably intelligent enough to kind of understand basic, instructions, but they're, for all intents and purposes, while they are an aberration, they're about the intelligence level of an animal. So, how you would treat some sort of like small, potentially aggressive, potentially dangerous animal.
I think we might be okay. If we just leave it alone.
Okay. So are you thinking we just try to go in and see if it follows, or just leave it as is?
I think that we are here to investigate this warehouse. I'm not exact. I'm a little concerned that we might be getting involved with something a bit more dangerous than I was anticipating. So just be careful, everybody.
I think Emmeline would try and get up high again. Can she get onto the roof of the warehouse, or is it too far across the yard?
Well, so you could. You would have to get over the fence and cross the yard to get to the warehouse to then get up on its roof. That's certainly possible with the right skills and checks. You can certainly try.
So are we going in, guys?
Yeah, let's start easing our way towards the door.
Yeah.
Keeping at least one eye on
Our friend.
that guy. Yeah,
The thing.
the thing. So yeah, we'll go ahead and start just scooting our way towards the door casually.
Okay. So how I can envision sort of three sorts of approaches. There's obviously there's a gate right in the fence. So there's whether you climb the fence or go through the gate. And then crossing the yard, there's the casual sort of direct approach. You stroll across it like you own it. Barging in or being stealthy. So how are you going about, dealing with the fence and gate and then crossing the yard?
Well, Sticks, do you what would you suggest in this situation? Should we try one of the loading doors or just not?
I think we should try one of the loading doors, really, because the chance. I have a feeling that the smaller door is going to be more watched than the loading door.
So the small door is literally right beside the loading door. So like your garage where you've got like a small door right beside the garage doors. It's like that.
Okay. I say we stealthily try to get up closer to it and just check the door itself and see what's going on.
All right. So as you guys are debating that, Twitch, you are down the alley. So you kind of just enter the alley as this like snowstorm blew in. You had been told by one of your fellow contacts with Styx in the in part of the splinter faction of the Zhentarim. That Styx was gonna go investigate something that maybe could get him in trouble, and he could probably use a little bit of a hand, and you owe him a favor.
I was wondering why I was going to go with that.
Why do you owe Styx a favor? What did Styx do for you?
Well, he kind of got me out of a fight once. He's got a knack for trouble. So, I accidentally knocked into a guy who knocked into another guy who knocked into another guy, and then a fight started, and I was in the fight, and I was screaming a lot, and then one of them grabbed my horn and broke it off, and then Styx came and rescued me. So.
With his eponymous Styx, I am guessing.
With his Styx, yes.
Excellent, I like it. So this is why you owe Styx a favor.
Yeah.
Twitch, I think, obviously normally would not want to be in this situation, but word kind of came down on high, and you have dutifully shown up in time.
You have to pay your debts.
You got to pay your debts.
Yeah.
And so you've appeared in time to see one of them disappear. From the end of the alley, you can see this creature that they're all eyeing warily, but then you see them start to kind of approach, the fence.
Oh man. Okay. Twitch is gonna kind of try to sneak up. Isn't super sneaky, but like looking around because there's like dangers everywhere, and be like, Styx. Hey, Styx.
Yeah. What? Twitch, what are you doing here?
Hi. I heard you needed some help, maybe. If not, I'll go.
Well, we can always use a hand. We apparently are down one right now.
Oh, good.
Are you okay? You seem a little more nervous than normal.
No, fine. Everything seems fine now.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
just relax. We're just gonna check out this warehouse and see
The
what's going
Zhentarim
on.
warehouse? Why?
Yeah, well, hey. You got to do what you got to do,
Yeah. Okay.
I agree with her way of thinking as well. Why does it have to be the Zhentarim?
And Twitch is gonna look around at everybody, and then her eyes land on Emmeline, and she's like, "Oh, hey."
Do I know you?
Do I look different than when I saw you?
You must be mistaken. I've heard of tieflings, but I've never met one before.
Oh,
It's nice to meet you.
okay. Okay. Wow. Okay,
Y'all,
then.
This is Twitch, y'all.
Hi.
She's a good one.
Oh, thanks.
I'm gonna walk forward and hold out a hand to shake. It's a pleasure to meet you, Twitch. I'm Dahlia.
Oh, wow. I've heard of you. And then she'll shake. It's a very trembly kind of handshake.
I put my other hand on top. I feel just the same way that you do. I'm just doing a better job of hiding it.
Oh, that's super nice.
So, Twitch, I'm Emmeline Brosfeather. When you came down that alley, did you see a human, young man, a few years older than me, kind of long black hair, heading the other way? Or any snow or whirling wind or anything like that?
Oh, the snow that was around you guys when I was hiding at the end of the alleyway?
Yeah, that's snow.
Yeah, that was weird.
Okay. You didn't see where he went, did you?
No. So
Would you like
they-
some soap?
Oh. Do I
It's-
smell?
No, I felt like I should extend, a gesture of friendship. It's peaches and pepper. Would you like some? I made
Oh,
it myself.
sure, thanks. That sounds nice.
It's pretty good at throwing things too.
The troll just
Are
didn't
pe-
appreciate it.
Are peaches and peppers a usual combination?
I like to invent my own combinations.
Okay, well, that's admirable.
Mm.
All right, are we going to do the thing?
Right. Well, yeah. Twitch, just so you're aware, we're doing this because we got paid to do this. So.
Oh, that's the best reason why.
So
Exactly.
I'm sure arrangements could be made for you to get a slice of the pie, especially seeing as Thaddeus is not holding up his end of the bargain.
Oh, that's very
Exactly.
generous. Thank you. I'll try not to run away if I get scared.
Appreciate it.
That would be real good because we might need you.
So are you guys going to climb the fence or go through the gate?
I'd climb it, I think.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not very
walk
good
through
at
the gate.
I'm kind of walking through the gate. I'm not built for climbing.
Okay. The climb's relatively easy. I don't think there's any check really needed to climb it. Just want to see who's
I
going
have
to
a
do
skirt
what.
on.
Fair point. Fair point.
I'm just like, really? This okay.
I can help you up.
Or we. That would actually be kind of funny that the rest of us, except for Emily, just walks through the gate.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and
She stealths around the side, hops over. And, oh, hey, we just used the gate.
Gate works.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So the gate doesn't appear to be locked, and are you trying to sort of be stealthy in both, like, opening the gate and crossing the yard, or
I
kind of
am.
just going for it?
I'm gonna try to be a little bit stealthy. So
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to sneak my ass off.
Okay. I
Just
will have
slow-
everyone who is perfect. I will have everyone who is being stealthy to give me a stealth check. Dexterity stealth check.
Oh boy.
all right, I got a 16.
Okay.
I got a 21.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
dirty 20.
Dirty 20, excellent. Dahlia,
7.
a 7, okay.
And, a 10.
And a 10, excellent. I do these kind of, as like group checks. So as a group, you're kind of helping each other. Dahlia goes, she's just about to stumble into a hole that potentially could create noise, and Styx kind of, helps them out. So you both, as a group, or you all as a group, make your way across the yard to where the door is. So you can see, there's the large loading door. There's a small door beside it. The loading doors look, quite heavy in how they are fastened. You're assuming all of the doors are probably locked, as well as the window that you can see nearby as well that lets into the warehouse.
Hey Dan, how high is that window up?
It's at ground level. So it's kind of right there. You're sort of in... Yeah, you're in almost like a little entryway, and so the window faces sort of perpendicular to the directions the doors face, so it's kind of just off to your left.
Can I get up on the roof? Can I try athletics or acrobatics or something?
Absolutely. The warehouse doesn't look like it has a lot of places to parkour, so I would say this will be a strength athletics check to climb.
As a monk, can I do dex?
So it in this case, it is more about your like finding things and really being able to pull yourself up.
All right, so I don't know if a 10's enough.
It's
If I'm
not
doing strength.
it's not a super difficult climb, so that is enough to get up to the roof.
Well, or if it's athletics, that's a 12.
Yeah,
I don't know
absolutely.
Which. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's athletics defaults to strength. So if you're proficient, you get your proficiency bonus as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So you do indeed make your way up to the roof. Scanning around, the roof seems pretty plain. It doesn't have, like, there's no skylights or anything that you can see at a first pass.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to take a look in that window and see if I can see anything.
All right. It's one of those grimy windows, right? It's kind of, warped and bubbled a little bit. There's a thick layer of grime and dust on it. Why don't you go ahead and give me a wisdom perception check?
Woohoo! Natural 20.
All right. So you're peeking in through this window, and so you're not looking into quite the main section. You're looking into this little sort of L-shaped piece that comes off of the main body of the warehouse. But you can see that there are piles of crates and barrels and that sort of thing, like you would expect, littered throughout. There's a set of stairs that you can see that go up to presumably the second floor. And just briefly, you see a small figure sort of hunched over with like a cloak and a hood thrown up that's kind of just crossing out of your field of view. Like they were over where you're looking and they're moving kind of into the main body of the room and out of your sight.
Okay. I'm going to call Doc over. Doc, come here.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, I think somebody else is in there now. I kind of caught a glimpse of somebody else through this window, but it's so dirty I can't really see anything that good.
What you did see though of the individual, well, it had this kind of like hood pulled up. You saw a beak coming out of the hood, and what you could see of the figure outside of the cloak seemed to be covered in black feathers.
Okay. I think it's one of those bird guys.
Oh, okay. And you think it's just him right now?
That's all I saw was one. It had the hook, it had the cloak up, and so I don't know.
Well, I mean, we got numbers at the moment, and I mean, we still gotta find that redhead.
Yeah.
All right. Is Emmeline hearing this from the roof? She's kind of leaning over. She's like, "What color was the bird man?"
Black feathers.
Black feathers.
Oh, he wasn't blue?
Being too loud.
Okay. What do you see up there? Any skylights? Can you get a better view?
There's nothing up here.
Okay.
While Doc and Styx are kind of peering into the windows, I'm like keeping watch around and behind us.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and also give me a wisdom perception check.
$17.
Okay. So yeah, you're keeping a close eye on the alley and street. Everything seems, there's not a lot of foot traffic on the street. Given that all the lamps except one are out, that's probably not that surprising.
Can I look at the door and see if I can tell if it's locked?
Absolutely. Why don't you go ahead and give me an intelligence investigation check?
23.
All right. The door is indeed locked. Relatively simple lock. Doesn't look like it would be too hard to pick with thieves' tools, but it is locked.
I'm going to whisper over to Styx, the door's locked.
Well, the only thing I can do is break it. Got anything that could get us in here?
Do it. I mean, kind of burning nightlight, I guess. So, unless you can think of a better way.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Dahlia.
Doc and Styx, when we get in there, then what? If there's people walking around and if this place is used by the Zhentarim, we're clearly not a member of their organization.
Mhm.
Or we could be calling out somebody that's not part of the organization. This is sometimes how we end up with favors.
We just say we forgot the combination.
Well, do they have some kind of initiation process? Do you get a letter?
Sometimes they throw knives at your armpits and you can't flinch.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't really do anything about that.
There we go.
All right. Well, ready, Sticks?
Let's do it.
Oh no.
Okay.
All right. So you're gonna break down the door?
Well, I'll go ahead and take.
I'm gonna force the door. I'm not gonna try to like all off and kick it. I'm just gonna see if I can kind of force the door. What kind of doorknob does it have? Is it a round one, a latch, what?
It's a latch, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna just push and start trying to shove without really trying to make as little noise as possible.
All right. Okay. So why don't you give me a strength athletics check, but at disadvantage, because you're not really putting your weight behind it. You're kind of just trying to see if you can maybe, bust the lock quietly.
Sweet. I rolled both 7, so 10.
All right. Just double check something here. Surprisingly, as you even, don't put that much force on it, but there is a crack and a pop, and the door swings open, and you can see the inside of this main room. So you can see the stairs kind of at the far end going up to like a gallery that goes around and comprises the second floor. So it's mostly open all the way up to the roof. There's piles of crates, some of which are open with like junk spilled out of them, barrels, that sort of thing, scattered around in several clumps, along with furniture. There's like, some tables and chairs and things set up. One of the tables is like knocked over, and you can see like playing cards and tankards and ale and stuff spilled out across the floor. There is 4 of these short bird-like individuals with hoods up and sort of short swords sheathed at their belt that look at you and squawk in alarm. And lined up along the wall, out of sight from when you were peeking in the window, there is 12 bodies, all in like various types of leather armor, with like rapiers and daggers kind of like laid out. So the bodies look like they've been drug up against the wall and kind of laid out. And as the birds look at you and sort of squawk in alarm, I need you to roll initiative.
Oh Lord.
Here we go.
Because the 4 birds like immediately sort of pull out weapons and yeah.
God, there must have been a better way than breaking down the damn.
But the straight approach is always the most fun at times. I got a 9, Dan.
Okay. 1 second. Thank you very much, Techno Scald. All right, Sticks, that is an 11. Dahlia. Oh, I can't hear you.
Whoops.
There we go. Maybe?
You hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Good?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
This happened last game that I streamed, and I don't know what this mic's problem is.
Oh,
It's a 14.
14. All right, Emmeline.
Well, the gal on the roof has a 25.
Wow.
Okay.
Helpful.
Uh,
How
Too bad
close
we don't
to
have
the
a
door?
skylight.
I know, right? How close to the door is this action happening? Or did you just walk in?
Yeah, they're just, Styx is probably filling the doorway and everyone else is in behind him outside at the moment. And that's how we will start. Doc, what about you?
Nice old 5.
Okay, and Twitch.
19.
Wow.
I'm rolling really good so far. It probably will last.
When it counts,
Yeah.
it'll be a 3.
Of course.
All right. So, Emmeline, you're kind of the first to go. I think obviously you don't see any of this. You have probably heard the squawk of alarm and presumably some muttered, swear words or something like that from Styx and some surprise from your group.
Did.
Yeah, where you're up on the roof.
All right. So if I drop off the roof, I'm pretty much landing on Styx, which he might not appreciate.
You could probably find a place with your movement and things to drop down close by. So you're going to be dropping 2 stories. So it's about a 20-foot drop down.
All right. You know what? I might just stay up there and see if the height becomes an advantage. And, get through the door without, bowling over Styx. So.
Okay. All right.
He's in the door. Yeah. I'll hang
He's
out.
in the door. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Twitch, so you're in behind Styx somewhere as he's kind of filling the doorway.
Okay. Do I have a straight shot, or can I see anything yet?
So you can probably see. You probably don't have a straight shot. I'd say they have a little bit of cover, like half cover. But Styx can let you in through the doorway and into the room.
Oh yeah.
Don't want to get closer to danger, but I will yelp in surprise and fire off an eldritch blast.
Okay, perfect.
That's really bad. It's 11.
All right, so that definitely misses. So your
And I'm
eldritch
like,
blast
Damn,
crackles
Twitch, I know you can do
by.
that.
More
It's-
impressed than anything.
It's new. I saw some stuff.
So it misses Styx as well, which is good. Sort of crackles in past them through the doorway and then smashes harmlessly against a wall. Dahlia.
I see the birdmen.
Yes.
And I take one of the daggers out from my blouse just as a form of self-defense. But I start backing up because I have nothing to offer in this fight. This is not my realm. This is a Doc Styx thing. And who's up next in initiative?
Styx.
I look at Styx, and I say to you, I've heard so much about you from Doc, so let's see this in action. And I'm gonna give you a bardic inspiration die.
Excellent. So that's a
D6 to add to an
D6.
ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw, and it can be used after you see the roll, but before you know the outcome.
Yep. All right. So Styx, you kind of you feel like an extra spring in your step with that compliment and
All
sort
right.
of go get 'em attitude, and it is your turn.
Okay, how far away am I from them?
A reasonable distance. They're
I'm going to close
30
the closest one, bringing out my sticks at the same time.
okay.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try to hit both with one of them with both sticks. So,
All right. Excellent.
all right. I just rolled a 5, and I couldn't hear how much for the bardic?
A D6.
Okay, an extra D6. Okay. Okay, that makes it a 10. And the other one makes it a 14.
Okay. And so, yeah, you only get it on the once and then it's gone. The first one you sort of miss. It goes over the creature's head as it sort of, bird-like hunkers down. But then as it's kind of springing towards you, your next one catches it square in the face. Why don't you go ahead and roll damage?
All right. How about 7?
Okay. He hit it. The creature squawks in sort of mild, indignant surprise, and then sort of just makes this almost like puppy dog like sound, like a sound as it is smacked. And then it is their turn. So the one that is on Styx will wait and circle back around. So there is the other 4. 2 of them kind of stay back and pull short bows. One of them's going to try and get a shot by Styx at Twitch, because Twitch fired in that Eldritch Blast, but Twitch will have cover. Except the Kenku got extraordinarily lucky and dead-eyed Twitch with a natural 20.
Oh, shit.
It hit the
no.
other horn.
This is
For
an natural
10
20 at level 1.
At level 1 for a total...
I think it chopped her other horn.
a total of 10 points of piercing damage, Twitch.
Oh, okay. That's not
Twitch,
too bad.
no, Twitch is down.
Oh, shit.
So there's just this
Fuck.
arrow and like
Very
thunks into the squishy warlock, who just immediately collapses.
I just
And
gasped.
the one on Styx makes a swing. That is gonna be a 16. Styx, does a 16 hit? Okay, you're still muted.
You're muted.
Okay, and it hits you for 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay. Yay.
And the other 2, basically they've only got the one target, pull short bows. One misses real bad on a natural 1 as the, kind of pulls it back and goes to let go and just totally slips it, and the arrow just falls at its feet. And the other one is a 13. Will a 13 hit Styx?
Yes. 13 did hit also.
For 3 points of piercing damage.
Okay. I'm hurting pretty bad right now.
How many of these guys are there?
There is 4 altogether.
It's bad news bears guy.
And with that, it is then Doc's turn.
Oh no. Seeing Twitch go down and Sticks beating up, I'm almost wondering if it's time for a tactical retreat. But at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go ahead and do. Now, quick question: will Cure Wounds stabilize and bring Twitch back a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. It heals the hit points, and she will be up with that many hit points.
Okay, yeah, the physician in me can't let that go by, and so I'll just give her a good, jostle, like, okay, come on, we just opened the door and Cure Wounds on her.
Okay.
Sorry, Sticks.
All right, so go ahead and roll that.
You get 11.
Wow.
I got an 8 plus 3.
good.
Excellent.
Sweet.
All right, so Twitch, you just feel this like healing energy rush through you, and the arrow sort of gets like pushed out as your flesh like knits back together and falls to the ground beside you. And we. Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Doc.
Oh, sorry. The movement. Well, I guess I'm right next to her, but I guess take a little bit of movement and still kind of stand in the doorway.
Okay.
Between her and Dahlia.
Okay. Perfect. So you now, this like wide dwarf, occupy the doorway, holding your ground, and we will come back around to Emmeline.
But now someone's in the doorway again.
Well, but in the door.
I'm in the door. Sorry, not like outside.
Like in the door frame,
You're
not
blocking the
outside.
door. Okay. Dang. I'm just really tempted to see if something unconventional will work. So I had a tunic and leggings on, plus sort of a incongruous furry cape. So
Okay.
I'm I'm gonna sort of take the cape off and get sort of in a crouching position, ready to jump off the roof or drop off the roof, and I'm just gonna see if I can lure one out there. I heard Birdman, so let's see if that works.
Why don't you go ahead and give me a charisma persuasion check?
All right, let's see. So that's gonna be a 13.
I think you probably hear a sort of angry squawking from inside, but no one appears to run out of
dang
the
it.
building.
Wasted.
All right.
Can I still have movement, or is my turn over?
No, absolutely.
All right, so if no one's coming out, I'm gonna drop down.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and make me an acrobatics check if you're sort of just dropping down the 20 feet off the building.
15.
Okay. So you manage to like kind of land and tuck and roll, absorbing the impact, and you are at ground level. Twitch, so you're awake and healed, laying flat on your back outside.
Okay. Twitch is kind of like, and I'll stand up because standing is the first part of running away. And but I'm gonna try to Eldritch Blast the guy on sticks again.
All right, perfect.
That is a 16.
All right, that hits.
Good. And I'm gonna yell, "Screw you!" And I do 10 points of force damage.
All right, excellent. And I forgot to ask, or I missed it. Is this on the one that is sort of engaged in melee with sticks, or just one of the ones with a short bow?
Yeah, one of the one. Even though the short bow would probably be smarter, but yeah, one.
All right. Yeah, so your crackling thing of force hits it square in the head. Its beak sort of cracks sickeningly, and it just cartwheels end over end sort of halfway across the room.
And then I'm going to hide behind sticks some more.
Well, so at this point, Styx is actually sort of in the middle of the room.
Okay.
And you're like outside the door. So, but you could, duck around in behind the door or something.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
You could take half cover behind me. I can't give you more than that.
Yeah. I'd say if you go up sort of to one side of the door and you're just kind of periodically, peeking out, it's like 3/4 cover kind of thing.
That sounds like a Twitch thing to do.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good to me. Dahlia. Oh, we're not hearing you, Dahlia. There we go.
Yay. Okay, I don't know what else. I was so excited about this whole setup, but now it's not working.
It's okay. Cables.
Mhm.
Cables and cable connections.
So, yes, I'm gonna look around at Doc and at Styx, holding onto my dagger. Is this a good idea? Is this something that we should continue to do?
Probably need to regroup. I don't see any redheads. Do you, Sticks?
No, I don't. I'm yelling this. I'm hurting.
I'm not exactly sure where I'm at in the fray.
I'm assuming you're sort of outside the building, kind of on the porch, as it were. Styx is really the only one inside. Doc is occupying the door. Emmeline's kind of landed somewhere beside you, and Twitch is sort of like up against the outer wall of the building.
Well, then let's go. And I turn around and I'm going to start hauling ass away.
All right. Okay.
And hope that they follow, because I have no idea, if this is a good idea for us to see this through, especially with Styx looking the ways. I'm just hoping that he's going to, run after, or Doc's got him or something.
All right. Okay, so you start retreating. Styx, the Kenku that you were engaged with, just got its face, half torn off by
Cool.
Twitch's Eldritch Blast. So it goes cartwheeling away from you. And there's sort of just the three in the room that are now, some of them that were all aimed at you are now like swinging towards the doorway in terms of their aiming with their short bows.
All right, so I don't need to disengage. Let's see. All right, I am going to go ahead and try to grapple the closest one.
Okay.
Just grab it and drag it straight to the floor.
Okay.
And for my bonus action, I'm going to use my second wind to get some of my hit points back.
Okay. All right, so why don't you go ahead and make a strength athletics check.
Okay. 15.
Okay. So what you can do, you can either like sort of the normal grapple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can like push it over, essentially.
I want to just do a normal grapple.
Okay. So
Okay.
you kind of, it's basically like the hockey jersey grab. You kind of grab a hold of its cloak. You've got it like this.
Yeah, I'm going to try to yank it up over its head. So, all right, and I'm going to go ahead and use my second wind.
All right.
Oh, sweet. I just got all my hit points back.
Excellent.
I rolled a 10.
So
I'm like running away, looking back, like what?
So the one you have grappled drops its short bow because it's totally useless and is like, because its arms are kind of still free. It just can't physically walk away.
Mm-hmm.
But it does grab its short sword and is like pulling it out. The other two, one of them is going to take a shot at Doc, who's in the doorway. And that's 24 to hit for 6 points of piercing damage. And the other one is taking a shot sort of past its companion at Doc. But that's an 11, so I think that will miss. And so that arrow kind of whistles by and like embeds itself in one of the walls. And then it is Doc's turn.
You're muted, Ryan.
Sorry, that does hit. My armor class is 10. I'm not wearing my chainmail on it.
Yep.
So.
So it was 6 points of piercing damage.
Oh, both of them?
No, the other one was at Styx. The 11 was at Styx, not Doc.
Okay.
I might have misspoke.
Okay, no. All right. So I'm up next.
And yes, then it is your turn.
Okay. So let's see. Okay. So the one he has grappled, has that taken any damage?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
but there is one, the one that got not hit by the Eldritch Blast isn't dead.
Well, it's on the ground and not moving.
Oh, okay, incapacitated. Got it. Okay, actually, I'll go ahead and one that took a shot at me, I'll go ahead and do Toll of the Dead on.
Okay, excellent. So it has to make a wisdom save?
Of 13.
And I think that is going to fail. Yes.
Okay. And 1d8, so it takes 5.
Okay. All right, so as this like dolorous bell rings through and Metallica plays, no.
ACDC.
No, For Whom the Bell Tolls. Obviously, that's the obvious song choice.
Exactly. And,
Hell's Bells, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and step out of the doorway and yell, "Sticks, tactical retreat."
I'm trying.
So
All
just
right.
making sure he has clearance in case he's bringing a friend.
Okay. So the one you're grappling, sort of some blood kind of spurts from its eyes a little bit as this like song and bell tolling rings out through the building. And then we are back around to Emmeline.
Who's now in front?
Yeah, you're outside. You got a clear path inside if you want to, for sure.
So Styx and Doc are coming towards me, not towards the Kenku.
Well, Styx has a Kenku like grappled, sort of,
Okay.
In his hands. Doc has
Kinda
moved
like
out of the doorway, but Styx is still like definitely in the building. He's like kind of two
All right,
thirds of the way in.
So the Kenku he's got is sort of out of commission. He's just grappling him.
It's taken some damage, but
it still has the short sword.
Yep, it's got its short sword out.
And there's two that are standing up and they have their bows out.
And they have short bows, that's correct.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to use my first strike to try and chuck the boomerang at maybe the furthest one, assuming I could get to the other one.
Absolutely.
All right, so let me chuck the boomerang, and that is, oh, dang it. All right, that's only an 11.
Yeah, so an 11 misses as your boomerang and then smacks against the wall.
Useless. Okay, so then, so she's going to try to dart behind the one that's closer and aim a high kick and knock it over forward so it shoot. So, dang, I'm rolling low. That's a 7 for the unarmed strike. Sucks.
So yeah, as you come in,
initiative.
So as you come in with like a sweeping high kick, kind of misjudging this creature's height, it's in Styx's hand, so it kind of gets jerked out of the way, and your kick sweeps over its head. All right.
And I use my last bit of movement to throw my cape over the one that Styx is grappling.
So the cape kind of just like hits it, kind of rests on its back.
All right, I'm trying to help you.
Twitch.
Twitch is gonna stay so long as Styx is staying, and try to Eldritch Blast the furthest away one.
Okay.
That the boomerang missed. Okay. Ugh.
Yeah.
An 8.
All right, so your Eldritch Blast again sort of streaks by and hits against one of the walls, sending splinters and everything flying. And we are back around to Dahlia. So Dahlia, you've kind of like ran across the yard. You're like at the fence, and you can just hear footsteps and some grunts, and now like a crackling blast in behind you.
Just sigh, turn around, put my hands on my hips, shake my head, run back. But I am not in the door. I position myself so that I am, so I can talk to Twitch without having to yell. And I put a hand on both your shoulders, look you dead in the eyes, and say, don't forget where you've come from. Tieflings are amazing creatures with amazing heritage. Use that to your advantage. Yeah. And then I give you a bardic inspiration.
Wow, thanks.
Excellent. All right. So yeah, you feel some reassurance, a newfound confidence bubbles up inside of you, and you have a D6.
My very last thing I do is I like crane my head around so I can see past Twitch, and I yell at Doc and Styx, "What the hell?"
Doc is sort of just like on the other side of the door frame.
I'm also trying to get at Styx too.
So. Yeah. Perfect. And with that, it is fortuitously it is Styx.
All right. Yeah. All right. All right. What I'm going to try to attempt to do is I'm going to swing this one into the other one.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm just going to go and just try to swing it over and knock it into the next one.
All right. So why don't you go ahead and give me a strength athletics check.
Natural 20.
Excellent. All right. So you manage like to shove, violently, sort of haul around and swing this creature into the other one, sort of sending it stumbling into it. Why don't you go ahead and roll me a d4.
All right, I got a 3.
Okay. So they sort of collide, their beaks and everything sort of tangle, and the two of them get sort of tangled up for the moment, basically as if they're grappling each other as they kind of get tangled up. They don't fall over, they don't go to the ground, but like they're, the short sword gets tangled in the short bow, and capes are swirling around, and they look like they might be, somewhat. They have to. I guess they are next. They're going to spend their turn sort of getting themselves untangled, the two of them, leaving just the one who's going to fire at you with a short bow. And that's a dirty 20 for 2 points of piercing damage. So as the arrow kind of just like clips off of your shoulder.
Yeah. Well. Ouch. What the? Trying to look around and figure out where that one came from. So.
And then it is Doc's turn. So yeah, you see these two Kenku that are just in the process of like extricating themselves from one another, and one that fired at Doc.
All right.
Oh, I think you're muted, Ryan.
Yeah.
Sorry. Trying to keep my excitement at bay with that 20 and smash it into each other. Yeah. We're going to go ahead and... Okay, so now the one that Styx was holding took damage, right? So
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to toll the dead on him. And that'll be 1d12 necrotic damage.
Oh yeah, and it definitely fails.
Okay, and yeah, that'll be 5 damage.
Okay. So it sort of looks dazed as this like rings out, and again you can see some like blood leaking from its ears as it kind of looks around with a bit of panic flashing across its feathered face. And anything else you're doing, Doc?
Trying to think, kind of in a good spot. It's like, Styx, let's get going. Lure him out here, we'll smash him with a hammer or something.
All right. And then it is back around to Emmeline.
All right, so I got one sort of behind me that's still armed with the bow, and then the two in front of me that are still entangled, but maybe not for long.
Yeah, they've sort of at this point have sort of untangled themselves from each other. They spent their turn doing that. One with a short bow, one with a short sword, and then there's one kind of in, behind them near the back of the room with a short bow. But you can get around to any of them that you want.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to invite an attack of opportunity though. So
you don't have to worry about that too much.
Okay. Well, they're right in front of me. I think I'm just gonna, kind of roundhouse kick, maybe both of them, try and use unarmed strikes to do one and then the other, and then get the heck out of the way, like kind of roll across the room with my movement, hoping the one with the bow doesn't hit me.
All right.
All right. So first unarmed strike would be a 15 to hit.
That definitely hits.
Nice.
All right. So I got 1d4 plus 1. So that's going to be a 4 bludgeoning.
Okay, and that one drops. There's like a sickening crunch with your blow, and it just like drops to the ground like a sack of potatoes.
All right, here goes the second unarmed strike. All right, that is only an 11 to hit.
And so that misses.
All right, I'm trying to roll out of the way so that I don't get hit. Try and present a moving target.
All right, and that's the one with the short bow anyway, so it wouldn't provoke any attacks of opportunity. And it's kind of just standing there looking a little frazzled. And as its companion goes down, it sort of calls out in a voice, sort of a very feminine voice. I won't try and imitate it, but like clearly a woman's voice, and just says, "We should get out of here," to its companion. All right, and then it is Twitch's turn.
Twitch is gonna say, surrender, and then Eldritch Blast. Yes.
Surrender or don't.
Well, hold on. Let's make that a 17 to hit.
That absolutely hits.
Okay. For 3 damage.
Okay.
Roll 3.
Yeah, it sort of catches it in the solar plexus, and it just makes this squawking oof sort of sound and stumbles back a few feet. It didn't like it too much. And then it is Dahlia's turn.
I take. So wait, what do I see on the battlefield right now? There's still 2 Kinku up.
There is 2 up. Yep. One of them has taken a few blows. They both have short bows. One sort of a little further back in the room than the other. And Emmeline and Styx are sort of near-ish to the one that's kind of in the middle of the room.
I take my dagger between my 2 fingers, and then I flick it at the Kinku closest to me.
Okay.
And I'm like, damn it.
All right. So go ahead and give me an attack roll.
So proud of you.
We jumped in the middle of it.
14?
14 hits.
Yay. Doesn't do very much damage, guys. They're just little daggers. That would be 3 points of piercing damage.
We'll poke
All
him
right.
to death.
Yeah, so I mean, it hits it. It makes a pretty startled squawk. It's not looking good. It's definitely taken some blows. It's got blood now kind of leaking down its side from where the dagger stuck into it. And it lets out. So this is the one that had spoken in a feminine voice previously. And now it speaks in sort of a back alley Water Davian drawl. And it's just like, ooh, that hurt.
Are we really killing them? That's the last thing on my deck.
What's up with these things?
And then it's Styx's turn.
Let's see. Do I have one that's fairly close to me? I know I knocked 2 of them down.
The one that, yeah, well, 2 of them are on the ground, not moving. You don't know if they're alive or dead. And this one that's closest to you is the one that's been taking a beating. The other one at the.
I'm gonna tackle it. I'm just gonna tackle it.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna tackle it. An 8.
Yeah, so it sort of manages to kind of spryly slip, as you go to grab it. It kind of just sidesteps aside and makes this cackling laugh sound. Fooled you.
Somebody shut this thing up.
All right, and it is their turn. It is now making a break for it. So the one that's at the back of the room with a short bow starts running to go up the stairs. So it kind of manages to kind of run across the room and start going up the stairs. It gets kind of part way up, and Styx, the one that you just tried to grapple, tries to dart back past you and is kind of heading towards the door, trying to obviously make the slip. You will get an attack of opportunity.
I will or won't?
You do.
Okay. All right. Good, because I was going to yell at somebody. Somebody help me stop this thing. Let's see. All right, 15.
All right, so your club connects into its face. Go ahead and roll damage as you kind of clothesline it.
All right, hang on. 5 points of damage.
All right, and it, you catch it as running by, and it does the like flips over, and just then is sliding on its butt, sort of across the floor, and stops moving.
One down. Let's get the other one.
And so it's Doc's turn. So yeah, it's the one that's running away. The one that's left is all the way across the room from you, and like partway up the stairs.
Okay, so, well, it looks like this turned, and so yeah, I'll actually go in my full movement and kind of not towards, probably to, I'm guessing Styx is kind of in the middle, and then the stairs is off to...
The stairs are kind of in the middle-ish of the room. Yeah.
Okay, well then I'll just kind of saddle up towards Styx and say, I guess we can advance the line. So, and then I'll go and toll the dead. I think
All
he's
right.
60 feet. And has he taken any damage?
He has not.
He has not. Okay, so that'll be a D8. Okay.
And yes, he does fail his saving throw.
For 3 points.
Okay.
Of necrotic damage.
All right. So again, you can see it just sort of halt momentarily and like clutch its head in pain as that rings out. And we're around to Emmeline.
Okay, so let's say in the last turn I was using my movement to roll towards my boomerang. So let's see if I can
Sure.
hit it. All right.
Absolutely. So you scoop up your boomerang from the floor.
I did not hit it with a 6.
So it just clanks against the stairs.
Not useful. Okay, I'm going to use my movement to run after this sucker.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you don't quite catch up to it, but you're in close and sort of gaining on it. Twitch.
Twitch is gonna try to Eldritch Blast it.
All right.
Ooh, 22.
All right.
5 damage.
Okay. All right. So it catches it square in the back, and the bird just goes, damn you, Sally. And we are back around to Dahlia.
Does it look like that Doc will be able, or who was it? That either Doc, who was chasing after the bird? It was Emmeline.
Yeah, Emmeline would probably maybe catch it. It kind of all depends. Doc probably not so much.
Okay. So I'm going to elbow my way through anyone else in the door still. Full movement to run, which is 30 feet. And then I'm going to face step another 30 feet.
Okay.
And you guys just watch as actually no, take that back. I'm gonna run up to Emmeline, put my hand on her, and say, just trust me, don't resist. And then I'm gonna use my face step on her and pop her out 30 feet in front.
Okay. So sort of right in front of the Kenku. Sort of, I'm going to guess you kind of leapfrog past it with that a little bit so that you are between it and where it is running.
And you guys just watch as Emmeline kind of disappears in this swirl of flowers and petals and all this kind of stuff. And then she pops back in this spray of petals.
Excellent. I love it. I love it.
And and that's it, right? He's the only dude that's up.
Yes.
And what do the other Kenku look like?
Yeah, you could make a quick medicine check.
Okay. It's not gonna be good. I have a very specific set of skills.
I will hunt you down and find you.
A 10.
Okay. They're not moving. They don't appear to be breathing.
I'm gonna use the remainder of my movement to run over to one. One of
Okay.
them.
All right. Yeah, so you could kind of come back down the stairs a little bit and get close to the one that's nearby. And it is then Stick's turn.
All right. Am I close to one?
No, it ran. It's like most of the way up the stairs. You're kind of in the middle of the room.
All right. I'm going to check the other ones that are down to make sure that they're actually down.
Okay.
And just if anybody isn't, I'm just going to tag them with a club.
Okay. So yes. So the closest one, go ahead and make a medicine check.
Well, that was great. How about a 4?
Oh, it's hard to tell. Is it unconscious? Is it dead? Like you're holding your hand on its chest and like the feathers ruffle a little bit. Was that just your imagination?
I'm just gonna hit it again.
All right, so you bring the club down on its head. There's a pretty sickening crunch.
All right.
And so the Kenku is startled as Emmeline sort of pops into existence sort of in front of it in this swirl of summer and rose petals and flowers. Spring, yes, sorry. And it just goes, it sort of makes this exclamation again, sort of in a feminine voice, but a different feminine voice. And it says, "Oh, Larry, you shouldn't have." And then tries to duck by you. But Emmeline, you will get an attack of opportunity as it tries to run by you.
Okay, so should I take that now?
Absolutely.
All right, I will just try to kick it off the stairs.
Okay.
All right, gotta roll higher than I have been. God damn it. That's a 10.
All right. So you kick, and it sort of slides kind of underneath your kick, and is then like scurrying on by. And then it is Doc's turn.
Is it,
oh, sorry.
So it's not like a regular turn where I get.
No, it's just it's just your reaction. So
Okay.
yeah. All right. And so it's screen, and it kind of gets to the top of the stairs and is like kind of darting, along the walkway essentially. And it is Doc's turn.
Okay, so it's still I can still see it hasn't left.
That's
the room
right.
or anything. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and cast Toll the Dead. And
All
since
right.
it's taking a little bit of damage, right?
It's definitely taking damage.
Okay. It's going to take one more point of damage.
All right, but that is enough as it tolls out, and it sort of stumbles, and it kind of just like lurches over towards the railing and like kind of flips over and then like falls down to the ground in front of you and just like cracks into the floorboards.
Well, one.
It's 1 point.
I love it. That is awesome.
I should have sneezed on it as it went past me. That would have done it.
Just elbowed it gruffly.
Achoo!
But you do hear sort of, as it lands on the ground, you do hear this kind of like, "Oh, my head. I drank too much last night."
Oh. Me too.
What?
Interrogate it.
Where is that coming from?
From the Kenku that just like fell over the railing.
Oh.
I've just been imitating all the voices that's heard in the dock ward. Jesus.
All
That's
Is that-
right. So what are you guys doing?
seeing. Okay.
So the Kinku that Styx checked out and crunched its head in, was that the one I was trying to?
No, it
investigate?
probably would have been a different one.
Okay.
So I think Emmeline's going to try and continue sneaking upstairs to see where it was going and if there's anybody else up there.
Okay. So there is sort of, it's like a balcony, fairly wide, like 10 feet wide or so, where again, there's some more of these boxes and crates around. It had hooked sort of a right as it came down the stairs, and down near sort of the end of the hall, but it would be on your left, if you're coming down, there's a door that is closed.
Okay, so I might, kind of look over the stairs at them and tell them what I found and, I don't know, maybe sneak back to that door.
Okay.
Situation's pretty well taken care of. In Panning, I'm guessing I see this line of bodies or people or.
Yep.
Right?
Sort of up against the far wall, and you can
Okay, and I was just gonna just look back and kind of go into the doctor mode and just like, Dahlia, would you assist me over here and try to see if I can't see if there's any survivors or anything at the moment.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and give me an investigation check first, as you're kind of like, looking through the bodies. Dahlia, before you go over, you're sort of down at the foot of the stairs, and you can see sort of in the shadows underneath the stairs against the back wall, there's a door that's kind of hanging off of its hinges. Like the door looks like it's kind of broken. It's just hanging from one hinge kind of crookedly across the door frame.
I'm going to walk over to Styx, and the look on my face is like fury. I'm going to like shove you in the shoulders. It probably doesn't do shit. You probably just stand there like a wall. And I'm like, what the fuck? We didn't come here to kill people. What are we supposed to do about this? All of these people are dead. Do you want to end up in jail?
That's not a problem. I can fix this pretty quick.
How do you mean it's not a problem? There are dead bodies. We don't know anything about them. We broke into here.
So?
And I swing back around and point my finger at Doc. I will help you with nothing. How many more people will we kill?
As many as it takes. We're working here. Sometimes it gets messy, real messy.
This was more self-defense. This was not intentional killing.
We broke into here. You
They
mean to tell
were
me
already here before we even broke in.
we don't know what they're doing? We are certainly not the watch.
Well,
Do you take it upon yourself to be the law? Are you judge, jury, and executioner now?
Well, look at the body sitting over there.
So that's a yes. And I storm off. And
in
I'm going to
this
walk
case, yes.
outside. And I just give him the middle finger as he keeps yelling at me as I walk away.
Fine.
Can I
Walk
check
off.
out that door upstairs?
Yep. So when you go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Okay. Boy, I'm rolling high tonight. Oh, but I have a 5 modifier, so that is a 13.
Okay. So yeah, you creep across and you're outside the door. So what are you gonna do? Oh, I can't hear you.
Cindy, I think you got
I think
unplugged.
you're muted, or maybe something unplugged.
I think you got unplugged.
I think it was unplugged.
Oh,
How's
there
that?
we go. Yep,
Okay.
can hear you now.
Sorry. So I'm gonna put an ear to the door and see if I hear anything on the other side.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Yeah. Okay, that is 16.
Okay, you don't hear anything.
I'm gonna try the handle.
It is unlocked, and it sort of pops open. It's kind of dimly lit. There's just some light coming, some reflected street light, moonlight coming in through the dirty windows. And it appears... so actually, when you open the door, you then hear a loud bell ring. Like up above the door was set a bell, so that when the door swung open, the bell just ding 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 rang open. And you basically see like there's desks, chairs, and bare shelves, and like some rats kind of like scurry across the floor, as you open the door and duck into cracks. But otherwise, it the room looks relatively empty, and you can see like sort of partway back is another door. Doc, what was the result of your investigation check? 5. Okay. So, you're going around checking the bodies. They are all clearly dead. Various stab and arrow wounds that would be relatively obvious. They all died by violence. You did notice that some of the individuals had black Zhentarim tattoos.
Oh,
So 5 of them have sort of on their wrists like a black winged snake, which is the sign of the Zhentarim. The other 7 did not. One of them, though, the palm of its hand had a tattoo that is a black circle. Let me just see here. It is a black circle with 10 spokes that radiate out from the circumference of it.
Okay. So just making sure that was 5
Zhentarim.
Zhentarim.
No,
Zhentarim.
Zhentarim. And what were the other 6?
So 6 of them then didn't have
Nothing.
any sort of
Okay.
identifying tattoos. They all had sort of leather, like dark black leather armor. Everyone seemed to mostly be armed with like rapiers and daggers kind of thing.
Okay.
A very roguish looking bunch. But yeah, so
Okay.
5 of them clearly identified as Zhentarim. 6 that are not, bear no tattoos. And then 1 that on the palm of the hand has a black circle tattooed with 10 sort of lines, like spokes, radiating outwards.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and yell to Styx. Looks like we interrupted them. The Krinkos got to him before we did. And then going to go ahead and see if I can't find anything other than weapons on him.
Okay. And of course that Kenku that had like landed on the floor, sort of this like, kind of coughs a little bit. It doesn't sound particularly good. And you just hear it sort of like chuckles in its throat a little bit. And then this husky voice kind of drawls out, Xanathar sends its regards. Twitch, what's Twitch doing amidst all this?
Well, Twitch watched Dahlia storm out, and that was a little uncomfortable. But I think Twitch would be going over to the dead bodies and pretending to help, but also looking through the pockets.
All right, go ahead and give me a investigation check.
Yeah, we're not gonna let this go to waste. So
22.
All right. They don't really appear to have a lot on them. Basically, they came in, weapons, and that was pretty much it. But as you sort through, various pockets, you do manage to find about a total of 20 copper and 10 silver kind of distributed among the various people, kind of hidden away.
Okay. No clues.
No, they other than the tattoos, there's no like secret scraps of paper or anything like that hidden away. They seem like they were prepped for business.
Okay.
Emmeline, so you found there's some doors up into the back room.
So I'll, kind of see if any desk drawers are open, if there's anything interesting in that room before I try the next one.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and give me an investigation check as you're checking through.
That was a nat 1.
You find a lot of rat droppings.
Ah. All right, so I'm going to try the next door.
All right. And so that door similarly basically opens up, like on another couple of very similar rooms. They look like old offices.
All right, so I would continue investigating in there and see if anything turns up.
Okay.
Can I roll again?
Absolutely.
All right. Oh, that was investigation 17.
Okay. So as you go through the last couple of rooms, you don't find really anything of value. It doesn't appear that they really use these offices, but tucked away at the back of a drawer, you find what looks like a piece of paper. It is like a full, parchment sheet of paper. But it looks like very, very fancy. It's like really heavy paper. It's definitely like a little unusual.
Okay, so I will try to carefully pry it up from the back of the drawer.
Yeah, it comes out kind of no problem. Okay. The dust kind of slides off of it. And, it seems just like an extra thick piece of paper. There's nothing written on it.
Nothing written on it?
No.
Okay, I will take it with me anyway, just in case there is something written on it.
Okay. Dahlia, you stormed outside. Anything that...
I'm just outside, my arms crossed. I'm pacing back and forth in a circle. I'm muttering stuff in my native language. I think after maybe a good 5 minutes of doing that, I close my eyes and I just think back to what Volo asked of us. And we're trying to find his friend, and I just try to refocus on that, and I can deal with the other stuff later. Clearly, nobody else gives a shit about the fact that we just killed a bunch of people, and that we could end up dead for this if anyone were to find out. And Styx is way too comfortable with that. And so I am going to, with my hands fisted at my sides, slowly walk over towards that door that I saw. And I'm going to keep some distance between it and then look over at Doc. Doc, over here, there's a door. If we're going to find this guy, I just gesture at it. I'm not going in there by myself.
I'll go ahead and just walk up and thank you. And sorry you got roped into all this. And look over to Styx. Door.
All right, let's go check it out.
Wait, you coming?
Yeah.
Wait. Focus. Just a little.
Okay.
I am not gonna be the first one to enter this door. I'm gonna wait and wait for the two
Okay.
muscles of the group.
And as you're waiting there, sort of, I'm guessing you kind of like just outside the door it's hanging on, you can actually hear sort of ragged breathing coming from inside.
Okay.
It's probably him. Let's go. But you
Right.
first.
And hearing that, still kind of medical adrenaline type mindset, first responder, just go ahead and swing open the door if possible and see what's on the other side or who's on the other side.
All right. It's sort of like a storage closet, and there's only just, the light from outside sort of like filtering in, so it's pretty dim. Although with your dark vision, you can see it relatively well. There's some storage crates, but there's like a tarp basically across like a jumble of stuff at the back of the room, and the ragged breathing that you can just kind of barely hear, like it's someone clearly trying to hide and be quiet, is coming from underneath that tarp. And the room smells like pickled fish, like rank, like old rancid pickled fish.
Oh, I love pickled fish.
Hear that over the shoulder. Floon.
What?
Floon, are you here? Is that you? We're here to save you.
And a sort of well-mannered voice kind of comes from the other side and just says, and who perhaps are you? And who sent you, may I ask?
Olo sent us. He was concerned for you.
Yes. Well, I'm afraid I'm not Floon. And sort of the
Fucking knew it.
the individual like kind of like pushes aside the tarp, and sort of a grimy individual. Although, if you looked at him, his physical description is relatively similar to what you were given by for Floon. He's got reddish hair. He's kind of tall, well built, clearly aristocratic. He's got like very nice clothes on. Is definitely handsome.
The wrong person.
And he goes, I'm afraid, well, this is a bit of a bother, you see. My name is Lord Raynar Neverember. I was with Floon, leaving the Skewered Dragon. He had had quite a lot to drink, and I feared for his ability to get home safely, so I offered to escort him. And, we seem to have been jumped by 5 thugs as we were coming down one of the lanes and pulled in here. In the fracas that happened, I managed to slip my bonds and escape into here while whatever occurred in the room. And he's kind of like following you out and sort of steps into the room and just says, oh my.
Yeah.
But
We just found it like this. We have no idea what happened.
You're so brave.
I'm glaring daggers at Styx right now.
I fear that some other individuals attacked the warehouse, and they must have made off with Floon.
I don't know.
Did you happen to hear anything in all the commotion, or is there another way in or out? Did you happen to see anything?
I fear that all I heard was something about symbols and the sewer.
Symbols like the instrument or symbols like runes?
Well, I only heard, so I'm not sure that I could differentiate, but given the context, I think more like not the instrument. something written or pictures or runes, something like that, symbols.
Okay. Well, how are you? Are you good to walk?
Yes, I'm, other than being a little worse for wear and shaken up, I am quite all right.
I'm looking
So
this
it-
guy over like head to toe, because I'm trying to suss out if he's being upfront and honest with us.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and give me an insight check?
Don't mind if I do.
Assuming you got upstairs, come back down, right?
Yeah.
There was nothing
yeah.
else upstairs.
There was nothing else upstairs.
That is an 18.
An 18. Okay. So with that, reading your body language, he seems like he's being honest. Maybe a little bit of shame in there. And he's possibly holding something back. He hasn't like spilled all of the beans, but he hasn't, lied about anything that you can tell.
So it seems like
So
he's in
as Emily comes down the stairs, sorry.
No, go for it.
I think she would recognize him as a fellow noble when she came down the stairs.
Absolutely, and I think you
Is
would
that
recognize
likely?
him by sight as Raynar Neverember. Oh yes, he is. He is more famous and wealthy than the Bros Feathers by far.
And I'm sure he's my senior, right?
He
he's-
is. No, he's a relative. He'd be about your age. He's a relatively young man.
Oh, okay.
He's being as like
Okay, but
maybe a bit
still-
older, but yeah.
But I think she'd still sort of show him some deference if his family was more important. So Emmeline might kind of catch sight of him and get flustered as she comes down the stairs and, oh, Lord Neverember, I'm sorry that you're catching me in such an unseemly place. But then she realizes that he's also in this unseemly place, so she kind of shuts up and listens.
And he's like kind of covered in dirt and grime, and he smells like rotten pickled fish from where
So
he has
she gives
been
him
hiding.
some soap.
+1 nobility fame.
So as she's, I know. Okay, so she's kind of, apologetic and sort of, holds it out to him deferentially. And I don't know what scent it is. I'm gonna let somebody else. Rose petals
Sandalwood?
and
Ironically,
rose
it's
petals and
pepperberry.
lime juice or something.
Oh my god. That sounds horrible.
I think he would take it gratefully and sort of tuck it in a sleeve, and so that he could unobtrusively like smell it periodically, and nods his thanks. He like looks over so that he can see kind of like the colors you're wearing, and just kind of quirks a well manicured eyebrow and says, one of the younger Bros Feathers, yes?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Emmeline.
Emmeline, Raynar, a pleasure. Please, when you have a chance, pass on my well wishes to your parents, but perhaps you could leave out the details. It's somewhat embarrassing, I
Perhaps
must admit.
we could both leave out the details of where we encountered one another.
I would appreciate that. Yes, thank you.
As would I.
Well, all of you, I can only express my gratitude for rescuing me, as it were, inadvertently as you were searching for Floon, and any assistance that I can render at all in finding Floon. I feel rather bad. I believe he was abducted because he was mistaken for me.
Wonder why.
Well, I believe that the Zhentarim are under the misapprehension that I know the whereabouts of my father's embezzled fortune. You see, my
Really?
father, when he was the Open Lord of Waterdeep, Well, let's just say my father and I have not spoken in years. He is not a good person. He does not have the best interests of this city at heart, and he embezzled a sizable fortune in gold dragons and supposedly hid it somewhere here in the city. The Zhentarim think that they can find this treasure using something called the Stone of Galore, which was in the hands of the Xanathar's Guild until recently, but apparently, from what I overheard, someone has stolen it. The Zents thought that I knew something about all of this, but I don't. As I said, my father and I have not spoken in years. And, sort of as he kind of drops that, you can all hear, trooping down the hallway, the jiggling sound of booted feet and weapons.
Fuck.
And then stepping in through the door is a tall, striking man in the outfit of the City Watch, with a captain's gold braids, and a retinue of about a dozen guards that spill into the warehouse. Dahlia, you recognize this individual as Captain Staggett. And I guess anyone else, actually, Styx and Doc and Twitch all probably do as well. He's the captain of the City Watch for the Dock Ward, so he is relatively well known to anyone that spends time on the Dock Ward. He has a reputation of being sort of uptight by the book. He really does have a lot of respect. People really respect him. He's fair. He's not crooked. He does the job of the City Watch, and he does it well. He doesn't drink at all. And he doesn't have like a temper or anything like that. So he's a pretty upstanding guy. Although, given the recent events between the Zhentarim and Xanathar's Guild, which you can see is a bloody mess, and this has been going on for a few weeks, sort of people have been talking that he, for such a good guard who really is, known for doing his job, seems to have been dragging his heels a little bit in terms of this whole gang war that's going on. But nevertheless, he steps in. He's got a hand sort of on a long sword that's belted at his side. All right. And he kind of surveys the room and sees lots of dead bodies. Someone starts talking, and I suggest they do it now.
I'm going to fall to my knees in tears, shoulder-racking tears. Oh my God! Thank God you're finally here. We were attacked, dragged us into here. We had to fight for our lives. Thank God you're here. And I just cry.
So building on that, Emmeline will kind of run over to the captain of the guard and say, "Oh, I thank you so much for coming. I'm Lady Emmeline Brostfeather. And Lord Neverember and I and our friends are so grateful to you for stepping in," and just kind of fawn up to him.
All right. So Dahlia, why don't you go ahead and give me a persuasion check?
Not performance.
Oh, performance? Absolutely. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Oh no. 11.
11. All right. Not bad. Not bad. I guess, Emmeline, you can go ahead and give me a persuasion check, and I'm going to give you advantage a little bit from the Tiri performance, but also a little bit from the fact that you are like invoking your name and a noble, yeah. And he's actually now seen Raynar Neverember and appears to recognize him.
First roll was a dirty 20.
Okay.
And I'll take it. It's a lot better than the second.
Okay. So when his when your names hit and he sees Raynar, Neverember, and everything, he does seem to visibly relax. He sort of eases his sword back into his sheath and take his hand off of the hilt, and sort of then put them on his hips. And he relaxes, but he still seems kind of guarded. He kind of puts guarded. Sorry, unintentional pun. As the guard is guarded, he puts a hand out and sort of goes to kind of pat Dahlia, but very awkwardly, he doesn't quite know what to do, and just says they're there, and fumbles around and hands over a handkerchief, sort of clears his throat kind of uncomfortably. Now then, I believe that explanations were what I requested, my lord, my lady. Of course, I see that something has happened here, and if it could be explained, I would be grateful.
I'm just imagining at this point, Styx and Doc are just kind of hanging back with Twitch, and we're just... We'll let the nobles and the more silver-tongued take point on this.
And I think probably, as you guys hesitate, Raynar would sort of breeze forward.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Staggett seem to be not well acquainted, but they recognize each other. And Raynar would sort of explain everything from his point of view. And he says everything that he has told you. So he doesn't leave any of that out. And he heaps effusive praise upon how you rescued him, fearlessly at no consideration for your own well-being and that sort of thing. And Staggett seems to take it in stride, and kind of just says, well, given the Lord's testimony, I do believe that this seems justified. Nevertheless, and he kind of pulls out a couple of pieces of paper and hands them around to you. If you unfold them, it's the code legal. Not that he necessarily thinks you're unfamiliar with it, but he just then says, perhaps best if you do not meddle in the affairs in this gang war between the Xanathar's Guild and the Zhentarim. Leave the dirty business to the City Watch, and if you do need to get involved in the dirty business, keep the blood off the streets, okay? And sort of does that where he looks each of you in the eye, sort of to get that affirmation kind of back, and looks at you all pretty solidly, to make sure that you've understood. Styx, Doc, and Twitch, you're all really familiar with the expression "keep the blood off the streets," which isn't a straightforward prescription against violence. It's also the fact that the City Watch doesn't care what happens beneath the city.
All right.
In, the sewers and Undermountain and places like that.
Yeah. Where you can't be seen.
In my mind, I'm yes, 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 master, yes, no more killing. Outside, I'm still
So Emmeline would thank him also, but then she might ask him to keep an eye out for Thaddeus, let him know that another Brass Feather child has gone missing.
All right. And he would take that and said, "Oh, of course, if a wee Brass Feather has gone missing, it is the duty of the City Watch to keep an eye out. I'll be sure to pass that along."
Thank you so much. And then Emmeline kind of snickers off to the side that, Thaddeus is a wee Brass Feather.
Pull that over his head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the City Watch, I believe, can make sure that the rest of this mess is taken care of. I suggest that you lot all skedaddle, as it were.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. I think we'll take our leave.
And
Yes.
we will, of course, spread the word to the other City Watch to be on the lookout for this Floon, although it sounds like perhaps the Xanathar's Guild has taken him somewhere. And, like I said, we keep the blood off the streets.
We hear you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
You have a good night.
All right. And he then starts like directing his men to, do the CSI Waterdeep version of like bagging up as evidence and like, dragging bodies and putting them around. He does go over to that Kenku who had like, fallen, the last one. And, this one seems to still be breathing. And a couple of the guards go over and, are like tying its hands up and like bandaging its wounds and that sort of thing.
I want to mention that the dagger that I threw, I never went back to retrieve it,
Okay.
and I wouldn't. I just
Okay.
Good idea.
Death on it.
However, Emmeline does grab her cape and her boomerang.
All right, you can definitely do that. Raynar seems to like surreptitiously, as he's like leaving, like bend over and scoop up a sword belt with from one of the bodies that had like a rapier and dagger on it, and just kind of like scoops it up and like belts it around his waist.
Nice.
And he accompanies you as you leave the warehouse. And as you guys step outside, that's where we will end for the night.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
Please, Louise.
As we leave you to decide what you are going to do. All right, so thanks to chat and everyone for tuning in as we have muddled through this warehouse and this
My
encounter.
Where the worst thing that could happen happens, and then the guards barge in. No!
The timing.
Damn it.
Saved by the nobility.
For real.
All right. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll just go around and have a quick word from each of our players before we leave and decompress for a little bit, and then go our ways into Critical Role Land and everything else. So why don't we start with you, Cindy?
Hi, I'm Cindy. I don't know what you want to know. I don't really exist on the internet unless you want to watch silly kid skits, and then you can check out my YouTube channel, Respecto Biggle. That's about all I know.
Excellent. Great. Thanks a lot. Lita.
I'm on Twitch at Litza Bronwyn, and I also make things on Patreon at Baby Squalling Dragons. And basically all of it is up for anyone to view. So if you're interested, it's mostly D&D stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, lots of like class options, new classes, subclasses, racial options, lots of cool D&D stuff.
I like making things.
Yeah, definitely worth checking
Like
out.
those cool horns.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, your cosplay on point, and thank you so much for pinch hitting last minute.
Thank you for having me. It's super fun.
Your excitement. I mean, it was literally probably between 15 minutes from you saying yes to then like starting to like craft horns. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Thanks. Yes, thanks so much. And we've got sort of a list of people, and we'll occasionally put calls out if we're going to be missing players and schedules. We've got some good storyline reasons, as you have seen, that we can pull people in quickly. So we'll always keep it full. Ryan, how about you?
Ryan, not much of a interwebs presence either. However, you can hear me as Avu, the 8-foot Goliath, on Red Hand Roleplay, our West Marches game. iTunes, Podbean, and probably on Facebook as well. So check it out. It's getting pretty intense where we're at now as far as airing goes.
Excellent. Yes, everywhere that fine podcasts are sold.
Exactly.
Matt.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at Learning Kim. I'm here every Thursday, and I'm enjoying this group.
Yes.
Excellent. Great. Thank you very much. And Nox.
Hi, you can find me on the Twitters at NoxNoctua. I'm here every Thursday, obviously. You can also see me this Saturday on my channel, Fable Tales, running a Fantasy Age game in their Blue Rose setting. I play with real life friends, so that's been pretty fun. And then following that not immediately. Shit, what time does it start? I don't have my calendar out. Crap. It's on Mort's Magical Wares channel, playing a game of Dungeon World. I just rolled a new character, and we're in a completely new setting in our campaign. So I'm really excited for that. That's a lot of fun. And then every Tuesday, I'm playing in a Ventures League game over on Anars's channel as my experimental warlock build, which is multi-classed into fighter. And I think I'm gonna multi-class her into rogue too. So we'll see how that pans out.
That sounds like some of Litza's characters in our off-stream West Marches games. Just multi-class into all the things.
Yeah, classes.
Why not?
Excellent. Great. Those all sound great, and we'll have to host some of those channels. We always like to host our friends and our extended family, and I love Dungeon World. It is one of my favorite games. That
game's a lot of fun. It started out as an exploration of colonialism, and then my character came from the colonizing empire, went on a little bit of a murder spree. She got kicked out of the party, so that's why I rolled up a new character.
Excellent. All the wacky things that can happen. So yes, I'm Dan. Chances are you're following me already if you're here watching, but you can find me at MadSciDM on the Twitter, and here on Variant Roles. I occasionally pop in on someone else's stream on a guest game or something like that periodically, but almost always here. So you can find me here, and every follow helps out. So thanks again for tuning in, and be sure to tune in to the rest of our games. So tomorrow night will be the Summer Crew, same time as ours, so 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. They had an extended session 0 last week. They'll be doing something fun and interesting, and probably mostly catching up to the rest of us. And then Saturday, I think at 12:30 Eastern, I believe, is the Spring Crew with DM Corey, and they will be playing, and then we will be back around next week to Monday for session 3 with DM Jazzy Hands, 7:30 Eastern. So 4 nights a week here at this channel, you will find something, and we may be prepping some stuff for Sundays to do some DM roundtable clips, catch up, summary type show, because we realize we're putting out 10 hours of content a week, and we need to do some summaries that will make it easier for people to come in. Cool. So thanks everyone for joining us, and we will see you next week. All right.
Bye.
Bye.